Hi there, it's Kino. I'm here in Miami and I'm taking some student questions today. So be sure to submit your questions on my contact form on my website and you'll get entered in a monthly lottery. And who knows, you might even get chosen. So be sure to tune in and keep checking back and come on about once a month. So today's question is from Philip Morgan. Philip has decided that he's fallen in love with Ashtanga Yoga. Awesome, Philip, you have my thumbs up for that. And he's decided to go to India. Wow, you're really awesome. I can feel your commitment. Congratulations. Now, you have a question. So Philip's question is, how much time does one need to be practicing on the mat and how many times a year does a student need to see experienced teachers? Philip doesn't live in an area where he can practice regularly with an experienced teacher. So because of that, he's decided to go to India and practice yoga there. Philip also says that he has a full-time job and other commitments, but can give 2 hours a day to yoga. First of all, Philip, wow, 2 hours a day. You can really do a lot with the practice with 2 hours a day. That's awesome. You don't need any more than that. 2 hours a day will give you enough time to get a full and complete practice in, and you can even include some of the more subtle aspects into your physical asana practice if your teacher is willing to teach that to you, and if you're open to those. Things like pranayama practice or meditation practice or even chanting practice, but that's really to be determined between you and your teacher. Now, your question continues that it would be financially difficult for you to travel to India and every year because of your commitments at home. Don't let yoga make you a bad householder. My teacher, Sri K. Patabi Joyce, he always said that the practice of Ashtanga Yoga is meant to be, done by householders, so people who have a family and have a life. Your first yoga is really your, life commitment. So the practice should enhance that rather than, making you a bad householder. So this was, Guruji's words. Now your last question is the one that I'm really excited to answer. You said, Philip says, I'm 31 and I wonder at times, have I started too late? I'm 31 years old. You're 31 years old. Wow. You have your whole life ahead of you. 31 is definitely not too late to start the Ashtanga Yoga practice. I can understand if you see some people who started yoga, like I did my first class when I was 19. If you see some people doing yoga and they're 16 or even earlier than that, if it's in their schools, you might think, oh, if only I had started younger. But it's perfect because who knows, if you would have started younger, you might not like the practice today. It could have been shoved down your throat when you were younger. You started at the perfect time. So just pause and recognize that. Be thankful that the practice has even arrived into your life. And when the mind starts to stray into those distracting thoughts of, oh, if only I'd started younger, then just call it back to the present moment and think, you know what, I found it when I did. The exact moment that you discover yoga is the perfect moment. Before then, you probably weren't open to receive the deeper teaching of yoga, so you may have gone into a class and walked right out. Now, even me, I started when I was 19 and I think, man, I wish I would have done yoga when I was 16. I wish I would have, stayed in ballet class or something like that. I think I've never even been in a ballet class, but I wish I would have stayed in some sort of sports or if my parents had been open to yoga when I was younger or something like that. But it doesn't matter. You find the practice exactly at the moment. You've meant to find the practice. You're never too old for yoga. This is something that's actually stated in the classical Hatha Yoga text. The perfect person to practice yoga is merely the one who wants to practice yoga. As long as you have energy and enthusiasm, you unroll your mat every day, that's enough. You'll find other ways to grow deeper in the practice. Now, 31 years old is young. You have your whole life ahead of you. It's really about the spiritual practice anyway. So if you set your mind right now into developing the inner tools that will lead the arc of your life towards more peace, more happiness, and more liberation, then for sure, think about 30 years of practice. You'll be 61 years old. You'll be able to look back at the course of your lifetime and see how yoga has led you to personal transformation, how it has left your life with more peace and harmony than you ever dreamed possible, how it has transformed the very core of your being. This is what the practice is about, and you have more than enough time. Don't even worry about the postures that maybe you think, oh, I could have done better if I started when I was younger. That doesn't matter. Some people are just naturally flexible or they're naturally strong and they can do all these postures. Doesn't matter because the inner journey of the practice is where the true gift of yoga comes from. So if you set your mind now, just imagine how amazingly peaceful the arc of your life will become. And if you commit yourself with that enthusiasm that gives you, the ability to practice, travel all the way to India, you direct it to the inner discovery, then there's nothing nothing your mind won't be able to accomplish. So whenever those doubts arise, it's really doubt is the obstacle that's arising. You're wondering, did I start too soon? Is what I'm doing enough? So when that doubt arises, set your faith deep within your heart and set your faith in the yoga itself, in the spiritual journey, and then that will be self-renewing, and you'll find yourself having more faith. It'll sort of it'll grow within. Now, I hope that you keep inspired, you keep yourself inspired along with the practice, and I hope that you eventually return to India and have an amazing time there. So stay inspired, keep the faith, and keep practicing.